You won't believe the shocking reasons why these actors left Cheers, from career missteps to behind-the-scenes betrayals. Some departures were planned, others were scandalous, but all of them changed the show forever in ways no one expected. Why did one actor leave for fame and never recover? Who was fired over a single comment? The truth is astonishing. From an actor's tragic demise to a character's humiliating send-off, these exits had fans reeling, and you won't see them coming. Shelley Long's exit. Shelley Long was the main star of Cheers. Diane Chambers was clever, classy, and the ideal contrast to Ted Danson's character Sam Malone. The show's popularity grew quickly because of its love-hate relationship, which helped make Cheers one of the biggest comedies ever. Then she suddenly left. Fans didn't understand. Why would someone stop watching a show when it's really popular? She had always wanted something bigger. Hollywood. She thought that being on Cheers had prepared her for a successful movie career. While most actresses would stay with a popular show, she left, believing she could succeed as a big film actress. At first, it looked like she made the right decision. She got parts in movies like Troop Beverly Hills, The Money Pit, and Outrageous Fortune. Some did well, but none made her an A-list star. Unlike TV, where she was a queen, film was merciless. Hollywood has moved on. What's the issue? Long underestimated how uncommon it is to have two big successes in showbiz. She created a memorable character on Cheers, but the movie parts didn't have the same special effect for her. Viewers didn't come to see her movies as she thought they would. Meanwhile, Cheers was still winning Emmys, still dominating ratings, and still admired by millions. What about Shelley Long? She gave up everything for a dream that never came true. Leaving Cheers was a risky business move that didn't work out. While her old co-stars did well, Long had a hard time finding the same level of success. She finally went back to TV and made guest appearances on Cheers. But by then, the harm was already done. Long's departure wasn't only about wanting to advance his career. Things were stressful behind the scenes. She was known for being hard to work with. Some of it came from her want for more creative power. She had disagreements with the writers about Diane's character, pushing for changes that didn't always match the show's direction. There were stories of tension within the cast. Kelsey Grammer, who played Frasier Crane, later suggested that working with Long was challenging. People didn't hate her, but she stayed away from the other cast members. While others felt close, like a family, Long mostly viewed Cheers as just a job. Ted Danson, who played Sam Malone, was polite about their chemistry on screen, but there were rumors of tension between them. When Long left, he didn't stop her. The silence said a lot. Her departure deeply affected Cheers. The show was built around the will-they-won't-they dynamic between Diane and Sam. With her absence, everything had to change. The show had no choice but to reinvent itself. Fans were shocked. They had invested years into Diane's story. Many believed Cheers was done without her, and some even expected the show to collapse. But Cheers had a secret weapon: adaptability. Instead of forcing another Diane, the writers took a risk. They brought in Kirstie Alley as Rebecca Howe, a completely different character. She was not another Diane. She wasn't Sam's intellectual match. She wasn't an immediate love interest. Instead, she was a confident, business-minded woman who flipped the show's energy entirely. And guess what? It worked. Ratings stayed high, and Cheers continued for 6 more seasons. A career gamble has gone wrong. It is a heartbreaking real-life tragedy. Unexpected firings and shocking exits. These departures changed Cheers forever, and fans never saw them coming. Nicholas Colasanto's sudden departure. Nicholas Colasanto was the heart of Cheers. As Coach Ernie Pantuso, he played a kind and funny bartender who made people laugh with his straightforward advice and caring nature. Viewers felt a sense of family with his character, who brought both laughs and deep emotions. But just 3 seasons in, he left the show. His leaving was not planned like the others. It wasn't about wanting a certain job or any secret conflicts. It was much more sad. Colasanto had been dealing with heart problems for many years. His health was weak even before Cheers, but he continued to work.
By the 3rd season, his health had gotten worse. He dropped weight quickly, his speech became slower, and he had less energy. It was obvious that something was not right on set.
The cast and team were worried, but Colasanto kept going. He didn't want to give up. He enjoyed the show and liked playing coach, but his body couldn't handle it. His last episode was shown in early 1985. He left shortly after that. Colasanto, at the age of 61, had a heart attack at home that caused his death. The Cheers family was heartbroken. Nobody thought it would happen this quickly. One day he was on set, and the next day he was just a memory. Losing Colasanto wasn't just losing a character. It felt like losing a dear friend. The whole group had a close relationship with him, especially Ted Danson. Colasanto was like a teacher, helping younger artists with his advice and kindness. His disappearance created an empty space that couldn't be replaced. The writers had a difficult choice to make. They could have chosen a different talent, but it wouldn't have felt right. Instead, they decided to include his death in the show's story. The people didn't just forget about him, they felt sad for him. The coach was not dismissed with an unclear reason. The show made it clear that his loss was significant. Instead of ignoring it, Cheers allowed the viewers to share in the character's sadness. In memory of Colasanto, the show added a new character named Woody Boyd, played by Woody Harrelson. Woody was younger and less experienced than Coach, but he had the same friendliness and charm. He wasn't a substitute. He was an honor. He had the same friendly spirit that Coach brought to the bar. Colasanto's personality was always felt on Cheers. The most moving part happened in Season 4. In the episode Cheers, the Executive's Executioner, there is a framed picture of Geronimo, a Native American hero, on the wall in the bar. Most viewers didn't realize its importance, but the group did. The picture used to belong to Colasanto. He kept it in his changing room to feel strong. After he died, the cast and crew put it in the bar as a lasting memory. It wasn't just decoration. It showed that Coach was still part of Cheers. For longtime fans, it was a sad yet lovely offering. It proved that Cheers was more than just another comedy show. It was meaningful and respected its history. Most TV shows change group members without much fuss. When actors leave a show, their roles usually have simple exits without much attention. But Cheers wouldn't let Coach's influence be forgotten. People missed him, and they remembered him. It's unusual to lose a main character in a popular show, and losing one to death is even more surprising. Fans thought the Coach would stay for a long time. His jokes, knowledge, and kind nature were what made Cheers special. Colasanto's death was not only a sad event for the show, it served as a warning that real-life tragedies can happen, even in funny situations. Instead of letting it shape the show's future, Cheers respected its past. It continued on, remembering the man who had given it so much love. A heartbreaking loss. It was a brutal Hollywood mistake. These actors left Cheers in the most unexpected ways. Fans never saw it coming. Jay Thomas's infamous exit. Jay Thomas had a steady part on Cheers as Eddie LeBec, a former hockey player and the husband of Carla Tortelli. He was funny, attractive, and a perfect fit for Rhea Perlman's lively character. Fans adored him, and everything was going great, until one mistake caused him to leave the show in a very embarrassing way. Thomas was both an actor and a radio host. He was known for being straightforward, having strong opinions, and being too honest at times. A fan called in one day and asked about the experience of working on Cheers. Instead of giving a safe answer, Thomas made a deadly mistake. He jokingly whined about having to kiss Rhea Perlman while filming. His words were not casual. They were rude and disrespectful. The word spread fast, and Perlman, who was a leading actress and married to famous actor Danny DeVito, was not happy about it. The Cheers team heard about it. The writers found out about it. The makers learned about it. Most importantly, Rhea Perlman learned about it. After that, Thomas's future was decided. The reply was quick. Thomas went from being a regular character on a popular TV show to being removed from it very quickly. He was finished. No more talks and no second chances. Losing Cheers was a big loss. At that time, it was one of the most popular comedies in the country. Being a regular cast member provided a steady job, connections in the business, and a chance to build a lasting career in television. After leaving Cheers, Thomas continued to find jobs, but his image suffered. He acted in Murphy Brown and made guest appearances on other shows, but he never totally got over what happened. His name is linked to one of the most well-known secret firings in show history. Most TV shows allow characters to leave in a way that makes it possible for them to come back later. Not Cheers. The writers made sure Eddie LeBecq would not return. His departure was both harsh and funny. Instead of a regular breakup or a peaceful farewell, they made his death happen in a very silly way. Eddie was hit by a Zamboni, a large machine used to clean ice at hockey rinks. It was exaggerated and silly, clearly showing that Thomas was not coming back. It was a funny scene, but it had an important lesson. This was what happened when you crossed the wrong people on Cheers. The writers could have honored Eddie when he died, but instead they made a joke out of it that fans still think about today. Most stars leave TV shows because of creative differences, contract issues, or to advance their careers. Jay Thomas left Cheers after making one careless remark. His firing serves as a warning in Hollywood. Don't insult your co-stars, especially those with influence. One bad joke made him lose his steady job, a long-term part, and a spot in Cheers history. When Shelley Long left Cheers, it wasn't just a change in actors. It created a big problem. Diane Chambers was the main character in the early seasons of the show. Her love-hate chemistry with Sam Malone drove the series. Everything had to change without her. The network got very worried. Fans are concerned. The makers wanted to find a replacement who felt different from Diane. They wanted something new, not just a repeated figure. They started having auditions to find the right person. Kirstie Alley never tried out for the role. Most actors have to do several auditions before getting a big TV part, especially for a popular show like Cheers. What about Alley? She got the part without having to do a regular audition. The makers believed she had a lot of talent. They had seen her in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and in some other small TV parts. But the network didn't get sold. Alley had no experience in comedy. Unlike Shelley Long, who was very skilled at comedy timing, Alley had not been the star of a big TV show before. Network officials worried that this was a big mistake. Conflicts arose behind the scenes. Was this the correct decision? Could Cheers still succeed without a main actor who has experience in sitcoms? But the producers trusted their feelings. They didn't want another Diane. They wanted something new. Most artists went through tiring auditions, but Alley was hired in a different way. The network had some doubts about the pick, but the producers were adamant. There was a lot of pressure. If Alley fails, she won't just hurt her own business, she could also damage Cheers. Instead of giving Sam another educated woman to date, they introduced Rebecca Howe, a strong and driven businesswoman. On the outside, she seemed to have everything in order. What's beneath? She was in a really bad state. Unlike Diane, Rebecca didn't question Sam's ideas. She questioned his work skills. She wasn't just a love interest. She was his boss. This changed the whole feel of the show. The change was uncertain. Fans were used to Diane's sharp wit and thought-provoking conversations with Sam. Would they agree to a totally different female lead? Allie's special sense of humor brought new excitement to Cheers. She didn't want to be like Diane. She was completely different. Nervous, unsure, driven, and funny in unexpected ways. Her connection with Ted Danson was very different from the one she had with Shelley Long, but it was successful. The crowd enjoyed watching Rebecca struggle to manage the bar as she was clearly overwhelmed by the chaos. Sam and Rebecca's relationship was not a balanced romance like the one between Diane and Sam. It was a completely new battle for power. She was in charge, but Sam didn't respect her power. The difference brought new energy to the show. Cheers didn't try to bring back what it lost. Instead, it created a new version of itself. The creators took a big risk with Alley. Despite the challenges, it succeeded. What began as a questionable casting move turned into one of the best choices in Cheers' history. After Shelley Long left, Cheers continued to do well for 6 more seasons with Alley as the main female character. Rebecca Howe wasn't just a stand-in. She became a famous figure on her own. She showed her critics that they were mistaken. The network officials who were unsure? They saw that the numbers stayed high. The doubters who were concerned that she wouldn't do well in sitcom comedy? They watched her win an Emmy for her acting. By the time Cheers finished, Alley had made a lasting impression. What looked like a casting problem turned into one of the show's biggest successes. She landed the role without an audition. He was supposed to be temporary, how Cheers turned unexpected risks into an unforgettable success. Woody Harrelson's staying power. Woody Boyd is a young man from a small farm town in Indiana. He was young, innocent, and full of excitement. At first, Woody was meant to be a temporary figure, a quick solution to fill in for Coach while he was away. What happened next was totally surprising. Woody Harrelson wasn't meant to be a big part of Cheers. He played a minor part as a bartender who moved to Boston because he looked up to Coach, a man he respected. He was meant to be a fun and cheerful character for a few episodes before the show continued. But as soon as he arrived on set, everything changed. Harrelson's acting seemed easy. His funny and lovable nature fit well with the group. He wasn't trying to take Coach's place. He was different. Woody Boyd stood out as unique. He was innocent but not foolish, unaware but very kind. While the other customers at the bar were clever and sarcastic, Woody stood out as a refreshing change. His innocent and cheerful view made him unique. The makers saw it right away. Fans quickly fell in love with him. What started as a short-term job became a regular position. Sitcom viewers often don't like new characters. When a big star goes, fans usually don't like the new person taking their place. They want to get back what they lost. They dislike changing things. But Woody Boyd was not the same as others. Instead of seeming like an unwanted addition, he quickly became a favorite among fans. The writers used this to their benefit. They made his figure bigger by giving him more time on screen and better stories. He wasn't just the new bartender. He became a main character. His character changed from a simple farm boy to someone more complex and interesting. His friendship with Sam Malone was different from Coach's, but still just as enjoyable. Woody acted more like a younger brother than a guide. His exchanges with Carla, Norm, and Cliff brought new humor, keeping the show enjoyable. As Cheers went on, Woody had some of the funniest and most remembered stories. He got married, tried his hand at politics, and surprisingly won an election. What was once a temporary figure became a big part of Cheers' success. Most sitcom stars struggle to move out of television. Woody Harrelson did the opposite. His role on Cheers started a Hollywood career that many did not expect. Instead of only doing humor, he tried new things. He acted in movies such as White Men Can't Jump, Natural Born Killers, and The People vs. Larry Flynt. He wasn't just playing a fun character, he showed a lot of different skills and emotions. While many sitcom actors lost popularity after their show ended, Harrelson's work grew even more. He went from being a little-known actor on Cheers to a big Hollywood star nominated for an Oscar. It's surprising to realize that he was never meant to be a permanent part of the group. Woody Boyd happened by chance. He was not supposed to be an important figure. He wasn't supposed to become a Cheers star. He definitely didn't plan to start a big career in Hollywood, but he actually did. What began as a short-term job became one of the best things that ever happened to Cheers. It's surprising to realize that he was never meant to be a permanent part of the group. Woody Boyd happened by chance. He was not supposed to be an important figure. He wasn't supposed to become a Cheers star. He definitely didn't plan to start a big career in Hollywood, but he actually did. What began as a short-term job became one of the best things that ever happened to Cheers. He didn't take Coach's place. He made something completely different. He brought new energy, funny jokes, and a surprising impact that continues today. The shocking exits from Cheers changed TV history. If you love this deep look, like, share, and subscribe for more. Click on the next video popping up on your screen to uncover more behind-the-scenes Hollywood secrets.